I am Sapna George. Today we are going to see the topic heredity and evolution. According to science, there is a certain order and process for our existence. Knowing the topic heredity and evolution is crucial. And it is for this reason we should understand the important role of heredity and evolution in the life of human beings. What do you mean by heredity? Heredity is also known as inheritance or biological inheritance. Heredity is nothing but the transmission of characters or traits from parents to offspring. Offspring means children, either through sexual or asexual reproduction. I hope you might have learned what you mean by sexual or asexual reproduction in your previous classes. Through heredity, variations happens between the individuals can accumulate and species can evolve by natural selection. The study of heredity in biology is known as genetics, which is very famous to everyone. So this is a study of heredity. Now let us see the topic in detail. The role of inheritance of the traits is thus related to the fact that both the parents, father and the mother, will contribute practically equal amount of genetic material to the child. Now, what do you mean by this genetic material? Okay, genetic material is the genetic information. It's a part of the cell that carries the genetic information that can be inherited to the child. Okay, like example DNA, RNA, etc. So, you might have learned what is DNA. Let me quickly tell, the full form of DNA is nothing but deoxyribonucleic acid. So, it is a molecule that contains the genetic code of an organism. So, the important function of this genetic material is to store the information needed by the cell to make its protein. Now, let's come back. Thus, each trait will be contributed by both paternal and the maternal DNA to the child. Thus, in a child, there will be two versions of trait. One of father and that of mother. Okay. Now, let's see some of the examples of heredity. So, these are the examples of heredity. We can see it in our own cells, okay? It is the color of your eyeball, color of your hair, color of your skin, the shape of your nose, ears, etc. It will look exactly, a child will almost look exactly like the parent. So, these are some of the examples of heredity. Okay. Now, the scientist named Mendel studied about this heredity in detail. Okay, he has done a lot of experiments using garden pea and thus he found out a very good information in genetics. He is known as a father of genetics. Now, before getting into his experiment and the laws of inheritance, Mendel's law, thus monohybrid and dihybrid cross, let me explain to you some of the terms that is related to heredity. We have already seen what is DNA. Now let us see another term, that is gene. Okay, so this is what gene. It is a basic unit of the heredity that is present in a particular location of the chromosome. So this entire thing is the chromosome. So now what is chromosome? Chromosomes are thread-like structures present in a nucleus carrying the genetic information that is passing from one generation to the next. As you can see in the picture, this is a cell and this is a nucleus carrying the chromosomes, and chromosomes you can see in chromosome DNA is present, on the DNA gene is present. So this is all interconnected. These are some of the terms that is related to heredity. Now let us see the next topic, evolution. Okay, as heredity and evolution are interconnected, we have to understand what you mean by evolution. Okay, what do you mean by evolution? Okay, evolution is a change in the characteristics of the species over a several generations. It is an irreversible process. So this is an example of evolution, evolution of man. Another example is this one. Okay, now, the scientist named Charles Darwin has studied this evolution in a systematic and detailed manner. And in his book on the origin of species, he has explained what do you mean by evolution and the significance of evolution. Now, what do you mean by evolution we have already discussed, and the significance of evolution, we will come to know how a new species has arrived, how a species has got extinct from the world, and several other characteristics like its behavior, his habitat, etc. Let's take one example. Okay, we can see here the giraffe, long neck giraffe and the short neck giraffe. How the short neck giraffe, due to his short neck, was not able to feed and thus got extinct, and this long neck one passed on this trait to the next generation through natural selection. Through natural selection. And this is the example of evolution. Now, there are two types of traits, acquired traits and inherited traits. What are the acquired traits? Okay, trait that is not passed from generation to generation, that which we built up during our life period. Okay, examples are muscles of weightlifters. It is not passed from father is a muscle lifter, doesn't mean that I too have the same muscles. No, it is an acquired trait. Scars, length of the hair, etc. And what do you mean by inherited traits? Like I told you, earlobe, shape of the earlobe, eye color, etc. All these are examples of inherited trait. So let us recapitulate and see quickly what do you mean by heredity we have seen, what is evolution, and how, what do you mean by acquired trait and inherited trait, examples of evolution and heredity. And that's all for today. Thank you very much.